Welcome to Dinner with Nanny Bubby. And here she is, the lady of the hour.
There we go. So we're using a new digital device. So, whoops. Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. It says we're live, but I don't know why we lost the view.
It's helping you.
Okay, here we go. Stand by, everybody. Okay. There we go. I don't know if we're live or not, but I'm sure hoping that we are. Hi, everybody. It's Nanny Bubby, and I'm here with Tanya Murray, and that's a great view. So we figured out a way to have a wide angle camera so that you could see everything that is going on. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So I just want to tell everybody that Tanya is actually my personal cooking coach. I gave her that title because she truly is one of my very favorite people to cook with, and I learned so much from her. And over the weekend, actually, I got myself worked up into doing so much that I suddenly wanted to change the menu in the middle of what I had planned, and I just needed somebody to talk about it with, and the dog doesn't talk food.
No. And you'd already been to the store.
And I'd already been to the grocery store. And my husband will say, well, whatever you think, but I didn't know what I was thinking. So I always pick up the phone and call Tanya and say, hey, I've got a problem. Can I just talk this through with you? Give me your sights here. What do you see? So thank you for that.
You are very welcome.
So Tanya has told me about this fabulous heirloom tomato pie, and we're going to be doing this in two parts. The pie crust today, and then also tomorrow we're going to actually make the heirloom tomato pie. And I'm looking at this view on camera. It's gorgeous,
Doesn't it look
isn't it?
beautiful?
Yes.
All of that butter and tomatoes.
Yes, it looks absolutely fantastic. So
fabulous.
this is what I need to do. I need to grab my phone, and the reason that I need to do that is you start to talk just a little bit is because we're on the laptop device. I see 11 people that have already joined us, but I can't see what they're saying, or at least maybe I think I can. Cynthia's here, and she said happy Monday, I think. So happy Monday back. But they will ask questions throughout the recipe, and if I don't have my handheld here just to briefly look at, so I'm going to grab that.
And I don't have my glasses, so I can't
I'll
read the
read
screen.
it to you. I'll read it to you. So proceed on.
Okay, well, hi everyone. I came across this recipe because I had some beautiful heirloom tomatoes, and I had always heard of the southern tradition of heirloom tomato pie, and I thought that is something I need to try. So what we're going to do to start is the Parmesan buttermilk pie crust. And one of the things I like about this recipe is that it is very, very simple, and it's almost foolproof. So sometimes cooking with pastry can be a little bit challenging, but we are going to jump in and get started, and I'm sure Marla will post the recipe and everything in a link or something like that.
Yes, we'll get right to it. So hey, I just want to say hi to Doug Eischer and Teresa Anderson, Cynthia Berman, and everybody else who's here. All the regulars are finding us right now. So, and Lucy who just retired and got a beautiful plaque. I saw that, Lucy. I was so excited for you. You said you waited a lot of years for that plaque that said congratulations on your retirement. So from all the gatherers here at Nanny Bubby, happy retirement, Lucy. I'm so proud of you. Apparently,
and just in time for retirement is a recipe that takes 2 days.
Yeah. There you go. Perfect. Okay. How do we start?
So we are going to start with 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and it genuinely is just all-purpose, whatever. It does not need to be anything special.
Okay.
And we're going to dump it in the food processor.
And what I love about today's day and age is that pie crust has been being made for years and years and years. But I learned this over the weekend from Yotam Ottolenghi, which are the two words that I love to say more than any others right now, who is a famous chef out of England. But he said when you make these ancient recipes, which really pie crust is in so many ways, that you are making it in a 21st century appliance, and it just melds the present to the past, and I just love that.
It really does. Our second ingredient is 1 cup of Parmesan Reggiano cheese. Now you can use whatever shredded Parmesan you like. You could use Pecorino. Feel free to get creative or use what you have handy.
Yeah, which is always great.
So dry, sharp cheese is what works well for this, though, because you wouldn't want to use anything bland.
Right, because actually, because of the tomatoes, it needs all that flavor.
And we are gonna do a half a teaspoon of kosher salt.
There we go. And my mother has just joined. Hi, Mom. Thanks for being here.
And then we need a quarter teaspoon of black pepper. Did I forget to get
I
that
will,
out?
it's fine. I'll get a, we'll grind it out. How's that?
Perfect.
Fresh ground black pepper.
Awesome. And I like a good amount of pepper in this particular crust because of the way it comes out later with the tomatoes and the cheese filling and everything. The pepper gives it a nice sharpness to some of the richness.
Especially on top of the really peppery cheese like a Parmesan.
Yes.
I just love that.
And then next going in is 3/4 of a cup cubed cold butter and a 1/4 cup solid vegetable shortening. I used, and I think you can see right here, butter flavored Crisco, just because I thought it kind of went with what we were doing.
That is amazing.
But you could use any kind of shortening you want.
I didn't even know that shortening in Crisco was still on the market, honestly, because I'm not a baker. But and you didn't find, where do you find Crisco these days? And butter flavored, who knew, right?
I know. The Crisco's in the baking aisle.
Okay.
Along with the other, like some of the different oils and things like that.
And it came cubed, which was really interesting. I'm used to thinking of Crisco in a big tub.
Well, you can buy it in the tub, but I like it's a little more expensive. But I like buying it in the sticks because they all have the measuring marks like butter does.
I like those measuring
It's just
marks.
easier, and you're not like trying to scoop it out of a measuring cup.
There you go.
Okay. Next, we are going to
Plug in the machine.
plug in the machine.
No, it's plugged. Okay.
And we're going to mix it in the food processor, and what we're going to do is we're trying to incorporate our shortening into the flour until it makes like just little tiny pea-size nuggets. It doesn't have to be completely smooth, but you want it to be uniform.
Well, I think that's really amazing because so many of the chefs, when they're talking about pastry, will always say, make sure your butter is really nice and cold, number one, and just keep blending. And when it turns to little pea-sized kernels inside the food processor, that's when you know it's actually done.
Okay. I'm going to take this off and just kind of show you because I know the first time I learned to make pastry, pea size is not very definitive.
Can you go way up in there? There you go. Up a little bit higher. There you
just
go.
like kind of little sands of shortening.
Yeah, there we go. Can you see that? Give me a thumbs up if you can see it. Hey Heather, how are ya? Thanks for being here.
And then next step is we are going to add our buttermilk.
Oh, buttermilk, not ice
You have
water.
a much nicer food processor than I do.
Mine is newer.
Because now I have an excuse.
But
since
the one that
dropped
I
mine
had when
last
I got
night.
married, right, she dropped her food processor last night. My 40-year-old one was really, to draw cards to, let me tell you. So it was time for a new one.
It's the universe telling you it's time to upgrade.
Yes.
So to do our buttermilk in here, we're going to pulse it and just pour it in. We want to just keep pulsing until it starts to come together like a fire. But I think I may need a little spoon.
Yeah, here we go.
Perfect.
And do you ever find that maybe sometimes you have to add a little ice water?
I'm thinking we might need to. For some reason it's a little, maybe because it's warm out today. I didn't think about that.
Or maybe not. It seems like it's coming together.
Oops.
It's okay. It's all part of the fun.
Isn't it though?
It is.
Okay.
So over the
I'll keep
weekend.
plugging away at this.
Okay, let's try it some more.
There we go.
No ice water needed.
Voila.
Good.
We have pie crust.
Okay.
And so what we're gonna do is take this out and wrap it up in a little ball in plastic wrap, or actually we can just stick it in this bowl. Or no, we'll wrap it in plastic wrap.
Plastic wrap.
And then it needs to rest in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours, but can be up to 24 hours. So when I made this before, a nice way to do it is just to make the dough the night before, and then you don't have to worry about.
And let me ask you about this. If you want to lift that, I'll put a big sheet underneath you, and then you can wrap it. Or do you need to ball it first?
I'll ball it first.
Okay. So what are your thoughts on being able to freeze it?
I have not tried to. I mean, I would do it.
Okay, like make it a couple days ahead and just throw it in the freezer, or a couple days ahead you could still put it in the refrigerator?
I think you probably could freeze it, and then I would take it out of the freezer like the day before you're going to use it, so that it has plenty of time to defrost.
And come back.
Yeah.
Come back to life.
Look at this beautiful
There
soft
we go.
dough.
It is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
And if you don't have a food processor, you can use a pastry blender. It just takes more time.
Which you had to use last night when you broke your blender, right?
I like to point that out though, because if a pastry blender is like $2 at the store.
Right.
And
Probably at the dollar store it's
Exactly.
only $1. But by pastry blender, and I don't even know if that's what, but it's the manual that is in a curve, like a U-shaped, with 5 blades in it, and there you go.
Yeah.
And you just blend your pastry through the, what do you call that? Even I don't even know what you call it. The stems.
So you're cutting in the shortening to the flour and salt and everything. But
So I wanted to say that hi.
so you're gonna take this beauty and stick it in the refrigerator.
There you go. Ellen Setliff is here. Hi, Ellen. And also Lynn Campbell is here. Hey, Lynn, how are you? Hope you guys, everybody had a great Easter and or Passover over the weekend, and I hope that you really enjoyed. I know that we all did here quite a bit. It was lots of fun, lots and lots of fun. I did a lot of cooking, and my husband cleaned the whole kitchen. I could not believe it. He just jumped in, and the next thing you know, he was just working away. And usually my housekeeper, who's been with me for 25 years, she always comes for all of our family celebrations, but I didn't want to even ask her on any, it's her Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, we'll just do what we can do. And lo and behold, when we were done, I go, Tom, it looks like Maria showed up. You did such a good job. So
Well done, Tom.
well done, Tom. I was so grateful to him for that. Okay, next.
I'm just gonna do this real quick while you demonstrate the tomatoes.
Okay, I will start with the tomatoes next. Do you need me to wipe this down or give you some flour to spread out, or move this so that you have more room to roll it out?
How about just a piece of parchment paper?
Okay.
That'd be
I
great.
love, as all of you know, I love these pop-up parchment
I love
papers.
parchment paper.
Yep, so this is either Reynolds, there we go, Reynolds parchment pop-ups, or you can get them at Kroger. There's a Kroger brand called Kroger Parchment Pop-Ups, and I find them so invaluable. And as you know, I put them on top of just about everything. So let me just pull you a little bit closer and tip this just a little bit down, just a teeny tiny bit, so that you can see. Okay, there we go. All right, I think you can see pretty good. So what I have done is I have cut out the core of all of these different heirloom tomatoes, and I did it with this strawberry core, which I just think is fantastic. Teresa, you said, where do you find them? So hey, Arlene, you're here. Nice to see you. Arlene, I'm glad you're here today, because I am going to take a week off starting on Friday because we're traveling, and except for Tuesday, I won't be able to get on. And I wanted to let everybody know that. And I promised Arlene I was going to make her cabbage rolls, and I am, but not this week and not next week, or maybe this week before the weekends I can get to them. But I promise you, when I come back, that is going to be the first order of business. So stand by for that, Arlene. And Teresa says, where do you find them? I think you're asking, where do you find the parchment pop-ups? Kroger is Smith's or Albertsons. Is Albertsons a Kroger store? Some are, I think. And-
Albertsons has them. It's a different brand, but
Oh, okay.
Albertsons has I think most of the grocery stores.
Really?
do.
Well, I only have been able to find them at Kroger. I actually order the Reynolds ones through Amazon. But if you can see, I've got this strawberry core, and I just pulled it right out with this. Get the core out with that, and now I'm just going to slice down right through it. If I can find my knife, here we go. So just about a 1/2 inch thick, I guess. And what we're going to do is we're going to take these, as I understand it, that Tanya has explained, and we are going to salt them so that we start being able to get them to dehydrate a little bit, and then we're going to slow roast them in the oven, right?
Yep.
So let me do one more of these.
And the reason for slow roasting them in the oven is so they don't end up making your pie all soggy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the side benefits of it is it really concentrates the flavor.
And so when you say slow roasting, what temperature does that mean to you?
In this recipe, it's actually 400 degrees for 30 minutes.
That's not slow.
No. I mean, sometimes I do them slow if I don't want to watch the oven.
Okay. Okay. So I know when we did the slow roasting of the small cherry tomatoes
Yeah.
from the garden, we did it about, what, 250 for about 4 hours or so?
Yeah. And you could do the same thing with this. Some of it depends if you want to be able to leave your house or, what kind of time you have and what you have going on.
Yeah.
I like having options.
I, however, am a very boxed in everything, so if someone says to me slow roast, I don't even think there's an alternative to it. I'm so obedient. If a recipe says
You
one
are.
thing.
But that's why your things always turn out beautiful.
Well, not always.
I have some that sometimes I should have followed the directions.
But somehow she's okay with it, which is why she's my cooking coach, because no matter what happens, she makes it feel like it's okay. Okay, there we go. All right, last tomato here. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, so we've got 2 sheet pans of these heirloom tomatoes. There's the first one, and let me bring over the second one, so you can see how beautiful all of that is. And we're going to, let me wipe this down a little bit, and we'll get the salt. Do you also do pepper or just the salt?
It just calls for salt, but I think you could do some salt and pepper.
Okay, I don't need to. I just was curious. Just wanted to know if I missed a step. Okay, so and of course, I always use kosher salt in these situations because it is really made, it's not as salty, and it really is made for things like dehydrating or pickling, and it's much better for you than iodized salt. So table salt and I are no big fans. So for me, it's either sea salt or kosher salt, which really is mislabeled because kosher salt in and of itself, all salt is kosher, but it is short for koshering salt, meaning that this particular salt is what they use to kosher meat, etc. So they left the ing out, and I'm not sure why, but anyway. Okay, next.
Okay, so next we have the pastry that I prepared in advance. So let me move this over.
Okay.
And I'm just going to put it between 2 sheets of the parchment paper, because otherwise you're dealing with flour and it's sticking, and
I love that.
yeah.
And is the parchment paper big enough actually for you to actually roll to? That's amazing.
It'll
Look at
over.
that.
We'll go over a little bit, but
Okay. But who's looking? Is it warm enough? Because I know sometimes
it is. It's kind of a thicker. It's a thicker dough. It's not as, I guess, as smooth as a traditional pastry.
I see. So
And part of that's probably because it's got the cheese in it.
okay, so yeah, look out for that. Don't think you've done something wrong because you're looking at it and it is so thick. So let me turn this a little bit so everybody can
And
see
we're gonna
it.
roll it out until it's about 1/3 of an inch thick, which is also a lot thicker, but because of the tomatoes and the way the filling has the mayonnaise and cheese and everything, you want a heavier crust so that when you cut out a piece, the crust doesn't give way because of the filling.
Right.
It
Because
needs
if
a
you
little
just
structure.
used a regular pastry dough, it would be too thin for all the juices from the tomatoes.
Yeah.
So I am thinking that because I'm going to start traveling on Friday, that maybe on Thursday we should have Cocktail Thursday because we missed last Friday because of Channel 8. So all in favor, hey there Sarah Phelps, all in favor of
Yay.
wanting Cocktail Thursday this week instead of Cocktail Friday. Raise your hands, drop a 1, drop a handshake, drop something if you would want to do. And I'm thinking about doing Ariane Resnick's, it's called Call the Coral or something like that. I'll post it for you so you can grab it. But it looked like a really, really delicious recipe and very easy to make. We could also do Vegas Showgirl if you want, but there wasn't much to that, even though I love the name and thought that was the perfect thing for us to do. Since most of us are sitting here right in Las Vegas, but we've got a lot of New Yorkers too, so I didn't want to, do something that excluded any of our New Yorkers. So Doug said thumbs up. Heather says, where am I going? I'll talk to you about it later.
And Tanya's still rolling.
Okay.
It's a labor of love.
And so tell us about it, because I think I might have gotten frustrated and thought I must be doing something wrong because it's not rolling easily, but I see that you just took your time compressing it, making it go down.
It's sort of like all good things when you cook, you just can't always rush it.
You can't.
And one of the things with pastry dough is any pastry dough, you don't want to overwork it. So it's kind of important to just take your time and shape it as you go.
Now, have you ever found a problem with it maybe getting too warm? And has that ever been a problem?
I haven't.
I have with regular pastry dough.
I think this one is fairly forgiving.
Yeah, and it's so thick. It is so very, very thick.
Just keep rolling away.
And so there's actually, I'm trying to think about what you put in here that kind of made the very spotted, oh, that's pepper.
The
That's
black pepper. Yeah.
I'm not used to seeing black pepper in a pie crust. So that's what that is. It looks really, she'll show this to you in just a minute. Can you all see that pretty good? I think so, huh? There we go.
And where's our pie plate?
Our pie plate, I have to show this
Because-
because I think this is so gorgeous. So this is my pie plate. Isn't that beautiful? I
Oh,
just
that is
love it.
beautiful.
From oven to table, this comes right out of this. I use this also to serve the fruit compote in, or anything else. Served the hummus in it yesterday. Whoops. There we go. So we'll put this aside. Now, you're gonna find the most unusual equipment that Tanya brought to actually bake this crust. I've never seen anything like this, and I'm so excited by it. But I usually use what I have labeled in this container called pie beans. What the good news is, I think after seeing what she brought, I'm getting ready to throw this out. But I use pie beans, but what she brought, if you're a baker, you will be blown away.
I used to just not use anything and hope for the best.
Oh, okay, well there you go.
More of that not following the directions.
Okay.
And so what I'm doing right here is I'm laying it over and just kind of guessing how much more I might need to roll it out.
And what did you guess?
I guess I need a little bit more.
Because it goes all the way over, or?
Because you want it to be able to go all the way
Indent.
up the sides.
Okay.
We're almost done. I know you're tired of watching you roll.
No, actually, it's kind of relaxing knowing she's rolling and not me. I'm so tired from the weekend. I cooked the most amazing mezza spread. I'm so proud of what I cooked. I did post it up on Instagram if you want to see the beautiful colors of the mezza, the mahamra, and the hummus, and the pea spread. It was just so beautiful. So, but it was a lot of work, so I am tired.
I bet.
Yes, I couldn't even make it to the gym at 4 o'clock this morning.
I wasn't making it anywhere at 4 a.m. Not even to coffee. So we have it all rolled out here, and we are going to ever so gently.
Do you need it 4 hands?
Probably, but let's.
This is where I would yell, Tom, come here, I need you for a minute. But you're okay. Oh, look at that. All right. Houdini.
And now, one of the things also is you want to make sure that you don't stretch it. So you want to kind of lay it in there, and the way I do that is take it from the sides here to gently drop it in so that it's like really going to the whole pan.
That's amazing.
And kind of, I don't know if you can see, kind of press it down in there.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
It's going to be so yummy.
I just love it. I wish that you could see it, but I maybe give a close up. But the black pepper in here gives it just this spotted, like you can tell that it's more of a savory dough as opposed to a sweet dough. And so I'll say hi to Lisa. Thanks for joining us today. Tanya is here. Tanya is my cooking coach, and I just my life.
I feel so important now.
Well, you're important to me. I'm telling you, you're very important to me. Everybody needs, just like I was telling her, I said, Tony Robbins, believe it or not, has a life coach. And why would Tony Robbins, of all people, need a life coach when he is a life coach to 50,000 other people, but God only knows, he does need one. And so I think everybody, even Oprah, has a life coach. Well, I don't so much need a life coach, but boy, sometimes I get backed into a corner in cooking, and I just need a 911 call that says, wait a minute, like if you were me, what would you do in this situation? Because this is how I see it. How do you see it? You just get another perspective. And poor Tanya is that person for me.
I love it. So what I'm doing here is we're gonna let the pie crust go like over this edge like that. And then I'm just kind of trimming so it's not.
So Teresa, I have a food ruler here, and I believe this is 8 inches, but it's 10. So it's a 10-inch pie plate, that's all it is. It probably looks bigger on, the camera because we're using the laptop camera, but probably if we were on the phone, it probably wouldn't look quite as large. But the one that she brought is also 10 inches, which you'll see.
I think that, yeah, it is.
Yeah, which she'll show you in just a minute. It'll come into the camera view. So it's just a 10-inch pie plate, so there you go, right over the side. Now, did you feel that you needed to spray this or butter it or anything else? I know you did.
I don't think
you don't
so,
usually
but
do that.
if you were worried about it, or maybe if you're like serving to company or something like that and need some extra insurance,
just to get it out
because
without sticking, yeah.
I think sometimes there's just never any guarantees.
No.
Okay,
that
so
looks beautiful.
We're just going to pat it down underneath like that.
And do you want to just hold it up so they can see sort of the speckles of the pepper in there and just see, down just a little bit. Yeah, see that, see all that. Isn't that amazing? So you can really tell that it is
the sides.
Yeah, beautiful. You can tell more that it's a savory dough as opposed to a sweet one. Okay.
And I let it go over the sides like this because when it cooks, it is going to shrink up a tiny bit.
Okay.
And then
So
I'm
you
just going to
open it up.
unstick it a little, so
And
it's
you're
not,
unsticking it, why?
so that it doesn't cook the container into the crust.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
And then now we get to the fun stuff.
Okay. Parchment paper inside.
Oh, you know what we're going to do?
Okay. Now
This
what is
little
this?
gadget I just discovered.
What is this?
because-
What is it even called?
It's called a silicone ring, and what happens normally is the pie crust cooks a lot faster than the rest of the edges cook a lot faster. And so you have to protect it.
Oh
And
my
instead
God.
of
Ooh,
trying
look at
to
that.
attach foil, parchment paper, letting it burn, all like the other things, we have this neat little gadget, and it just attaches right here, and it fits almost,
So it fits a 10-inch pie plate, right?
yeah.
Look at that.
And
so
you just kind of stretch it down over like that.
now, do they make them for 8-inch, or are all pie plates 10s?
Well, this is adjustable, so you can make it smaller.
Oh.
And I got it on Amazon, and I've used it.
What is it called? Pie weights, pie baking weights, and
Pie weight baking beans, and it came with 2 of these little dealy bobs.
I love that.
Isn't that awesome though?
So that
And so-
protects the edge of the crust.
And the crust will still brown.
Yeah, show them that. Just show them.
This is the one that I pre-made.
That's the finish,
This
just so
morning.
you could see it. But those edges are nice and brown, so you don't take this off during the cooking.
No.
See, aren't you glad you stuck in there for now to watch exactly how that came out? Okay, so now you put the parchment paper inside.
And then we're gonna,
Okay,
and the reason we're doing this is to keep the bottom crust from bubbling up.
so I want to just show them these. So these are pie weights. But if you don't have pie weights, you can use what I have always used, which is the pie beans, right? I call them pie beans, and these are just, I don't know, are those lentils, or what do you think those are?
Well, that's what I used before,
Uh-huh,
and it was great.
yeah.
I
So-
just thought I was feeling fancy, and I really wanted the silicone rings because I was tired of trying to do parchment paper and foil around the edge and have it not stick.
So now, now do you need to cut little holes in the bottom?
Not yet.
Okay, so the reason that you do this is that if you don't put the weights in it, when you bake it, it will start to contract. and
Yeah, it'll
shrink up.
contract, well, and it'll bubble up, so.
Right, it just
Like,
keeps it
yeah,
flat.
because it's kind of like a bread.
Right, it's kind of an old trick.
Yeah, and so we're gonna put this in the oven at 400 degrees for 20 minutes. And then we're gonna take it out after 20 minutes and just take out our baking beans, and so that the bottom of this can brown just a little bit more, only for like 5 minutes though.
And you don't take off the silicone.
No, I don't take that off until it's completely done. And that's how brown that got. I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, let's show them that again. So, okay, there we go. So there is, you can see underneath, because my pie plate is not glass, and you can see how it's brown underneath this. It's very nice and flat, so the pie beans
Yeah.
did their trick, or the pie weights did their
When
trick.
I took the pie weights out, that's when I cut a few slits just to get the hot air out.
And then, as you could see, the edges did brown even with the silicone in it. So this is absolutely fantastic. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say goodbye today, and we are going to, whoops, I'm sorry.
You can eat it.
Okay. I
Taste
will.
it, it's yummy.
Okay, I will taste it. All right, ready? Here we go. Mmm.
Imagine how good that's gonna be tomorrow with tomatoes and extra sharp white cheddar, mayonnaise, shallots.
So, if you want to join us tomorrow, if you want to make your pie crust today, it's so good.
Isn't it?
It's so savory. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like a
It's kind of a treat just by itself.
It
And that's what I
is.
was gonna say. You can take the leftover dough if you want,
Mhm.
and you could make little breadsticks out of it, or croutons to put in your salad,
Oh.
or bake it however you want. But it really is yummy.
So if you want to join us tomorrow, actually just get yourself 3 pounds of heirloom tomatoes.
Or beefsteak if you can't.
Or beef
find
steak if you
heirloom.
can't find heirlooms. I went all over town today to find heirlooms and finally found them at Sprouts, in case you're asking. You want to slow roast them today with salt, or fast roast them for 30 minutes at 400. And for the filling tomorrow, we need 1.5 pounds of
your tomatoes that you're going to want to cook in advance.
3 pounds of that, 1.5 pounds of white sharp cheddar cheese, 2 large shallots,
Yes.
mayonnaise,
Dijon mustard.
Dijon
And
mustard,
a little bit of garlic.
and a little bit of fresh garlic. And that's it. So if you grab all that tomorrow with us, get your roasted tomatoes done today, then you can assemble tomorrow with us and put it in the oven and have a great heirloom tomato pie for dinner tomorrow night, which I think we're going to be doing, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, everybody. Love you. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to make drinks on Thursday. Wednesday, I'm not sure yet. I don't know until the day arrives sometimes what everybody feels like doing. But anyway, love you all for joining us. Thank you so much for everything. And on the count of 3, all of us together say 1, 2, 3. Go out and spread love like butter. Bye, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Okay, I have to lean in and end this show, which is much more difficult than ending it with my phone. So it takes my mouse, and that's it. Bye, everybody.